What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Bocan Garage. As you guys probably saw in the last episode, or maybe you didn't see, maybe you saw about as well as you could because obviously we filmed at night, but we have done the facelift to my Impreza, something that I kind of said I'd never wanted to do because I really wanted the version 1 turbo hood, but you know, it was just too hard to find. And thanks to a friend, I actually found one online on Yahoo Auctions, and it's only going for 400 bucks. But the problem is the shipping. The shipping is like almost 3 times the price of the hood. Like the hood right now is like $424, and the shipping is estimated to be like $1,200. And I'm just like, oh man, to get the version 1 hood, it's gonna run me like 1,600 bucks, which I don't have that kind of money in my pocket or my bank right now to be spending on a hood of all things. But we got the version 2 or facelift hood, so I'm happy with that. We got the angry eyes, we have the hood, the grill, all that stuff. But that's not the focus on today's episode. I'm just showing it to you guys because it is daytime now. It is days later, and you guys can see it. So, boom. Don't worry about the oil there. We have a small oil leak in our oil pan. We still never touched that, but I've always made sure the oil's topped off and it's fine, so we ain't got to worry about that yet. We do have the oil pan gasket. I just haven't gotten around to it. I haven't had time, and right now we don't drive it that much. In fact, we actually barely hit 420 miles on this thing since owning it, and we've owned it for like, when did I buy it? Back in August? Something like that? So, yeah. This thing does currently not get driven a whole lot, but it is what it is. But today, the focus is going to be taking care of that finally, because we want to have the kind of whole GC8 WRX look. So, we're going to attempt to fit our wing today. Now, for those of you who do not know, this is not going to be a straight-on, bolt-on, just instant wham, bam, thank you, ma'am kind of thing. There is some modifications we do have to do to the trunk. Right now, because I've already tested it, only one of the holes actually lines up. Technically, the 2 rear ones slightly line up, and that's just because like one lines up, but then when you have a bolt in there, you can't get the other one, but it's just slightly off. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to extend the holes there, which kind of sucks, but we got to extend the holes, and then we have to find the spots for the new holes and all that. So in case you're wondering, it is not just a straight bolt-on kit. We do actually have a lot of stuff here. We got drill bits, we got drills, we got, I don't know what it's called. I always call it the Christmas tree bit, but it's to make the holes bigger. We have an assortment of inserts, grommets, nuts, bolts, everything. So without further ado, let's get into this because this is not going to be fun. Well, I shouldn't say it's not going to be fun. It's just not going to be simple bolt-on. It's going to take some working because, as you guys can see, there's some inserts in there because 2 of my holes, at least on mine, 2 of them are just holes with nothing to screw into. Like literally nothing to screw into. So my plan is to open those, widen those, and put some actual tapped inserts in there. So obviously, guys, to start this, we got to start by taking off the old wing, which, in case you guys don't know, is just held on by 6 bolts. I think mine's missing one because I had taken it off previously. You're going to see a bolt there, a bolt there, and behind these covers, you got to take that off and take out a bolt that's behind there. And do not forget, if you have the 3rd brake light, like I do, you got to take off that plug, because if not, you're going to have a bad day. We don't want to have a bad day, we want to have a fun day. Or at the very least, we'd want a stress-free day. So, I'm going to get to unbolting it. And guys, for me, as you're undoing the last bolt, I like to lower the trunk a little bit because I would rather the spoiler to kind of stay in place than it slide down and, like, you know, smack my rear glass. And you can kind of lift it at a vertical angle as long as you keep your hands on it, because there are 2 screw bolts in here that will hold it down, but you just want to be careful. Always put down your tools and just gently lift up. and boom. And just remember, as long as you actually take off your electrical plug, you shouldn't get caught up on anything. Shouldn't, but you always want to be careful. We always want to be safe. Unfortunately, our replica wing is not going to have our third brake light. So in the future, we will be taking the wing off in the future, to obviously to paint and other things like that. But I also want to cut out a template for this because I want to try and retrofit this onto the replica wing at some point in the future because I kind of like having a third brake light. Number one, guys, before you ever start drilling or doing anything to your body, make sure that your measurements are on point, because if not, you're just making holes for no reason. Now, off camera, days before, actually, when I bought the wing, I did come and test fit it with bolts, and like I said, that one bolt fit, but it just wasn't enough to get another one in. So I'm just going to use this Christmas tree bit to just slightly widen both of my holes here. Unfortunately, these other two holes, they don't fit at all. I forgot to buy plugs for those. So, yeah. We'll have to buy plugs for those in the future, but for now, here we go. And honestly, it's as simple as that, guys. I'll come and give you a closer look. So as you can see, I kind of made the holes a little bit wider. They're kind of, I would say, 1/4 of an inch now holes, more or less. But that alone will give me all that I need literally to at least put the rear bolts in and figure out where I need to put my other holes. So again, guys, like I said in the hood video, this is not the easiest thing to be doing by yourself. If you do have a chance to have a friend help you out, do not be afraid to ask for a friend. However, I have done this many times by myself, and I kind of have a little system for doing it. You just gotta go slow and steady, and literally just make sure you got a nice grip on the wing so it doesn't go sliding everywhere. Like if you have nice paint, which currently I don't, obviously you want to tape off your area, maybe put a blanket or something, but my paint is not anything I'm worried about right now, so I don't care. And it looks as if I might have to widen our hole just a little bit more, guys. Yep, because it's not entirely biting. Like, it's just a smidge off. But that's all right. That's what trial and error is all about. Again, like I said, you just take it short, sweet, and simple. You don't have too much issues. Also, do be careful. So, there are, from what I understand, 2 to 3 different springs out there for these hoods or the trunks. There is the no trunk hood, which has a spring just strong enough to lift up the trunk by itself. There is like how we have the medium one, where it's enough to raise the hood enough with the original spoiler on, but it won't go flying up. And then there's the level 3, which is strong enough to lift it with an STI wing and whatnot. If you have a level 3 or you have a level 2 and you don't have the spoiler on, be careful, because the second you hit that bolt latch or the trunk latch, this thing will literally shoot up like a rocket. And you don't want to hit yourself in the face with that or anything like that. So be careful. And that's what I was talking about, guys. This thing will come flying up. I only have the version 2 spring, but if you have the version 3, imagine how fast this thing flies up, because it has to equate for the wing's weight. So that's also something to keep in mind too. If you're putting a big wing on your Impreza that has no wing, at some point you're gonna have to upgrade to that different, stronger spring, or else you're gonna have an issue noticing when you go to pop your trunk, it won't open because the wing's weighing it down so much, it just can't unclick. But let's get at this for round 2. So, made the holes a little bit bigger on both sides, and we're going to try and see if that gave us just enough to get in there. Yep, there we go, guys. We had just enough to where we're in. When it is all said and done, that's what it's going to look like. Obviously, we're not going to leave it red because we don't want it red. But one thing you got to notice, it's going to be hard to get in there. You see where the little ridge comes down? You have like a little gap between the edge of your trunk and the bottom of the wing. That's the part that's most crucial. You want to make sure that that is kind of as even on both sides. Like you see how it's over there. Boom, pull it over there. Even there. Let's go back to the other side. And hopefully I won't push it like I did on that side, because I got pushed by my bush. Right there, that bush. But look at that. It's pretty even. So I like that. Now we're going to figure out where to put our next holes. Now this could be done one of multiple ways, actually. So I don't really know which way I'm going to go yet with. Some people like to loosely, like how I put 2 screws on there, they like to put it on there loosely, get under there, and they'll put toothpaste or any kind of notifier onto the where the holes go, and then they'll just push it down, bada bing, bada boom. Some people will go in there with a marker. Some people go in there with like a little scratching tool, describe like a spot or whatever. I mean, there's literally so many different ways that you could do it. But we are going to try the toothpaste route, because honestly, all you got to do is just lift it, dab the toothpaste where your actual screw holes are, and then push it back down, and it should leave a mark for the toothpaste on the trunk once you take that thing off, and you just drill holes where the toothpaste is. So this isn't going to be perfect by any means, guys, but I want to try and get you in there to see what I'm seeing more or less, or what I am trying to do. So put my toothpaste right up in there. Hope it shows up in the camera. At least it smells good, right, guys? And now the toothpaste is installed. We're going to gently push it down, kind of where we want it to be. And so obviously, guys, once I lift it up, it should leave a mark of toothpaste, and it did not. So that means we got to try again, because it did not leave the toothpaste marks. And although not very prominent, guys, you can see the toothpaste marks. There's a big one right there and the small one right there. So you can kind of see how off the holes are from literally the old ones. And it just is what it is. I don't know if this was an OEM wing, if that would, like, just bolt straight up. But since it's not, just is what it is. But as long as we know the more or less where the hole needs to go, we're going to make the hole about as big as that, so we have leeway to, adjust and all that. So it being too precise is not really a factor or an issue to me personally, because like I said, we're going to use it for adjustment, and I like to do one side at a time, because I don't like to feel rushed having to then come to this side and do the same thing and whatnot. So I like to, just wing it, do one at a time. And you can see kind of where it is on the outside of the mark. So you can tell over here, it's going to be like right there and right here, or like on this side, it's right there and right there. So you can more or less tell just from doing one side where your other side is going to line up, because of the lines. Like you can see where the old wing line is. So that kind of helps for a guideline sometimes. But let's get into drilling these holes, because I want to get this wing on, guys. I don't know about you, but I love doing stuff like this. So getting to install wings and whatnot is exciting to me. Now, I won't lie to you guys. In most cases, you want to kind of have a hole punch, which is basically something with a sharp edge. You just boom, boom, tap in there, and it makes a little dimple for you to make your screw hole or your drill hole. Makes it so your drill doesn't go all over the place. But I usually have a decent time with this, so I shouldn't have that happen to me. But we'll find out. See, I didn't need it. But having a punch does help. Now, when you're drilling over here, guys, one thing I guess I should have mentioned, it's okay for you to go full force over here, just, drill away, boom, because there's nothing under there. Here, you want to be careful. Like you saw there, once I got through the top layer, I stopped, because underneath here is usually either going to be a second layer for a pinch weld for the trunk, or it's going to be your actual rear quarter panel. So once you got that hole started, that's when you go, to the next step and make it bigger. but you got to lift your hood for that because you don't want to obviously be drilling through your quarter panel. I'm going to show you guys real quick the reason why I think I'm only going to do, I'm going to still make the holes for this, but I'm not going to fully go for that one. I'm just going to do the outer holes. I'm going to show you the reason why. Obviously, you see up here, boom, you make the holes. Pretty simple, pretty explanatory. You notice down here, this is normal. As you can see, our hole went here on the side, which would have went down there and drilled in there. So this is fine. We can drill that out, make it bigger. But if you notice, you don't see the other hole. Why? Because it's right behind here, which means you gotta aim and drill and make that hole bigger and everything to get access to that. And that's kind of a pain in the ass. It's not the funnest thing to do. It is necessary. You are gonna have to do it if you want to put all 6 bolts on eventually. And I am gonna have to do that eventually. I just don't know if I want to do that today. Because again, this is all just fun for me. So it is what it is. But now we're gonna make this hole bigger. And I'm just showing you guys I was hitting it one screw at a time, going up by one step at a time, just to try to make the holes a little bit bigger before we just go at it with our Christmas tree bit and make the holes bigger. Because once you hit it with the Christmas tree bit, there's really no going back. Like, that's just all she wrote, and you are committed. And as you guys can see, I went one bit step size at a time, and then I hit with the Christmas tree bit so I can get my holes nice and big. So obviously I can, you know, measure the thing out and angle it and have space and all that. Obviously they're much bigger than the original small holes because, again, I had to make sure I have room for adjustment. And don't worry, I have grommets and whatnot. We're going to be able to plug these up so that we do not have water getting in from our holes. And obviously we're going to clean up all this because we don't want all that shared frayed metal there. And ideally you do want to hit that with a little bit of just primer, just so it doesn't rust and anything like that. So we're going to try and clean that up real quick. All right, guys, so I apologize. I went and drilled the right side off camera. I guess the time to find out if our marks are in the right spot. So the reason why I say, guys, that the toothpaste bit isn't always the most accurate, and you always got to make sure, especially with these replica wings, is because you never know how off-centered those screws will be from one side to another. But we kind of got the pilot holes in. We got them kind of ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to try and find my main screws that I was using. There they are. And let's see how well it all lines up. So I'm back with my bag of random screws and bits and bobs and everything. So now we're going to try and see how well we did. And if we're lucky, we did well. If we're not lucky, we didn't do so well. So it's hit or miss. Like I said, with these aftermarket wings, you can never tell with these replicas and whatnot, because you never know who was making what in the factory that day. So it is just a bit of chance. That bolt and that screw lined up perfectly for the hole that we made. We even had just enough to get an actual washer in there. And don't tighten them up, guys. Like, if you just get one in, 2 in. Don't tighten them instantly. Don't go like, you know, boom, balls to the wall. Because you want to make sure that you have room for play. Like you see here. I don't know if I guys can show you that. You see how that hole is not exactly lining up, which means we have to make that bigger. And it's like I said before, guys, when you're working on projects like this, especially when you're working with aftermarket stuff that's third party from who knows where, China, Indonesia, take your time. Again, there is no rush. No one's rushing you to finish this job except for yourself. And even though we did our toothpaste trick that showed that our hole should be here, once we got applied, it's actually way off. It's kind of like right up in here. So that's why I say just take your time. Ain't no rush. If you make a little mistake, oh well, who cares? Life happens. It's not like the car's destroyed. Yeah, it may have one more hole in it than you kind of really wanted it to, but oh well, we can plug holes. Plus, it's going to be under the wing. No one's ever going to see it. So just remember, guys, take your time. Ain't no rush. All right, guys, so once your trunk looks like it's been in a 50 Cent music video and it's got, like, you know, more holes than factory and more holes than most people ever have in their life, like, you should be good to go. Like you can see here, like I said, it was just off, like literally by 1/4 of an inch, or so it seems. So that hole should work. We should be able to bolt this on now. All right, guys, remember how I said with these aftermarket wings, sometimes you just never know how things are going to go. So I'm sorry I didn't film the last 10 minutes, 20 minutes, however long it's been. I was kind of getting agitated, aggravated. Because the holes, yeah, they lined up, no problem. I just had to make them even wider right now on all sides because it was uneven. Like the wing was just like slightly more to the right, and I didn't have any room to adjust it to push it over to the left. So that's not the problem. That's not what angered me. That's not what was getting me mad. Remember how I say, guys, take your time. There's no rush, and I wasn't rushing. However, if you guys have ever installed a wing before, you've probably run into this issue before many times. When I was trying to get the screws and washers up in the body, well, guess, you hear that? Guess where they are now? Yep, you're guessing right. There's about 3 washers and maybe 1 or 2 bolts up in my trunk now, and they're just there. They're in there. So, yeah, not exactly going to plan. Not exactly what I wanted to happen at all. And it's making this project so much more of a pain in the butt than it needs to be. So, in the future, I don't know how we're gonna get those out of there. I really don't. And yeah. I mean, look at my trunk. It's 50 Cent style. It's shot up with holes, which we are going to patch up most of them, all of them. The ones we're not using. But, I don't know. We might buy a new trunk and practice with that in the future. But, let's get it back on there. Let's get it on. Let's get it done. Because I am just, losing so many screws and bolts and washers inside that body was not fun. That was so agitating. So a quick little tidbit for you guys. Just remember, you're only as useful or as useless as you make yourself be. Small tangent. It took me a while to get this thing on back again because holes were lining up, but screws didn't want to go in nicely, and I was afraid of cross-threading and, you know, doing this all by yourself kind of thing. But on the terms of uselessness, my roommate comes out and sees me struggling, and instead of asking, you know, if I need a quick hand, he asked me, why is the freaking wing red? Like, I get it, he doesn't watch my channel, so it doesn't matter. But it's like, why, if you see me struggling, why are you asking me why is the wing red instead of like black like it used to be? When you could be like, hey, instead, do you want some help? But no. Anyways, rant over. I'm not fully happy with this because if you guys can see here, see that gap there between the trunk and the wing right there? Then compared to the gap here on the driver's side, it's just a smidge over it, but I cannot get, even when loosening it, guys, I can't get to push over anymore. Now the back is pretty good. Right there. And right there. Like, it could go over a little bit more. Like, but no, the back to me is pretty much perfect. It's the fronts. I need it to slightly shift, like just ever so much. But for now, honestly, I'm going to live with that because that's going to require more hole drilling, more work. And I'm still sick. I'm out here coughing up a fit, trying not to cough up a fit. But, you know, we got it on. So there it is. Our WRC 22B, whatever you want to call it, Do Re Mi style wing. And yes, I get it. It is bright red, and the car is not bright red. Like I said in the last video, guys, this car is becoming more and more of a Honda every single day. Like, miscolored panels, everything. Just, it's my Honda Impreza, as I like to jokingly and affectionately call her, because literally we've got two different shades of green. I think those are the same blue. They might not be. And then he got a red wing. Sorry for the coughing fit. Like I said, I'm still sick. So, yeah. It is our Honda Subaru Impreza Civic Edition with the multicolored kind of Christmas theme, even though Christmas is over, because we got the green, the yellow, not the yellow, the green, the red, and the blue going, which is kind of hilarious. But yeah, so our wings installed. I know this was probably not the most informative video, guys. I try to show you what I can, and really, my videos aren't meant to be a one-to-one guide on how to do these things, especially with these aftermarket wings. They are, everyone is different, but it's on there. It ain't going nowhere. Like, I am lifting up on it, and it's fine to me. I like it. I'm more of a fan of the version 6 to version 5 wings, but you know, that still looks nice to me. So once it's painted, we'll come back to that, because when we gotta take it off, the reason why I'm not stressed about, like, you know, it lining up right now perfectly or anything like that is because when we take it off to fix the holes that we left behind and do all that stuff, then we're gonna worry about, you know, making the holes a little bit wider so we can align it, because all the holes, I made the holes all as wide as I could be for now, and still I just cannot get to shift over, so I don't know what that's about. It's got to be hitting or something, but it's on. I like it, and we will worry about that other stuff in the future, but for now, it is what it is. So yeah, so again, I apologize for my voice. I am sick. I apologize for the bad camera work, because again, I'm not a filmmaker. I'm just a dude with a camera, a couple cameras, and a dream. And right now, the dream is looking pretty good. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's getting to the point to where body work, I'm done with modifications. Like, yeah, I kind of want to fix the door bumps. We have a brand new passenger side door that we will replace for there, because you see that's kicked in. We will take care of that kind of body work, but in terms of modifications body work, I'm done. Next thing we got to do, because it just arrived today, is our shocks. So that'll be next on the to-do list, and we can finally fix our broken shock on this side. We'll replace both of the rears at the same time. I got to go this Monday and pick up the tabs for my cover plate so we can install that. And those, it's like 45, 47 bucks just for 3 tabs from Subaru. Good Lord, guys. But yeah, modification-wise, in terms of like additions, we're good. We picked up brand new door cards, as you guys saw. Oh, no, you guys didn't see. I didn't film that day. Yeah, no, sadly, I did not film that day. But I got brand new replacement door cards. They're sitting in the back of the Toyota right there. So we'll give those the old black and blue treatment. Then we'll install those. Our replacement quarter panel here, we will give the black and blue treatment so we can install that as well, get that finished up. I'm still looking for a 93 or 94 dashboard so we can put that in there. But yeah, I think we are done with visual mods for now, guys, and we're going to move on to mechanical mods. Now, like I said, this is going to be a daily driver. It may see the track once or twice, not really that ever, but we're just going to do preventative maintenance and keep her alive and keep her going. And one thing I do want to do once I get the new shocks on, there was another video by another guy I saw who also bought an, I believe, L model 2-door all-wheel drive Impreza, just like me, and he got his for $400-500, and he ended up, like, he just did a video. I commented, and he actually responded, made a video of how his project cost $31,000 to make. And now a big chunk of his was like $8,000 in a transmission, which is just, $8,000 in a transmission, I just, boom, mind blown. And like $11,000 in an engine, which is, again, I understand. I know that's possible. People can do that. And then he, like, you know, he went over a list of everything he put into it, money-wise and all that. And I was just like, dude, I pray that I don't get that far deep into this thing with money. Because right now, honestly, we got the car for $500. And I'm not going to do a tally right now of every single piece and part. I'd venture to guess I've probably dropped at least $1,500 on the high end in mods. Like, literally everything you see here. With the price of the car, I probably have spent maybe $2,000 if I'm lucky. If I'm lucky, I spent $2,000. Like, I can't fathom that I spent more than that, but maybe I did. I don't remember. So I remember what each individual price of every part was, but in total, yeah, I don't think I'm more than $2,000. I couldn't imagine being $31,000 in a Subaru project like that other guy. Kudos to him, though. Makes great videos. And if he sees this video, hey, shout outs to you. But yeah, so we got the wing on. I'm going to stop rambling. I'm stuffed. I'm stuffy nose. I'm runny nose. I'm sick. I'm coughing. You guys don't want to hear that. I don't want to be that. So we're going to end the video for today, guys. Remember, every broken car is an adventure. Every project's an adventure. Every car, whether broken or not, is an adventure. But I hope you guys are enjoying this series. Honestly, we're coming close to the end for the Subaru, and we got to figure out what we're going to do with the Fusion behind me. Maybe get another project car. Who knows? Because I can't get tired. I just don't get tired of working on these cars. I just have too much fun. So let me know what you guys want to see in the future. Let me know if you guys like this swing. If you don't like this swing, just let me know. And if you guys have tried installing these wings before and maybe you've struggled like I did, maybe you know. Maybe you know the struggle, because it ain't fun. When you're by yourself and you're trying to make all those holes and everything, and like I said, I don't care that it has 1,050,000 concert holes in it, because you're never going to see it. And even from below, yeah, they're there, but who cares? Like, in all honesty, who cares? We're going to plug them up so they don't leak water, but it is what it is. All right, guys, I'm going to see you in the next one. Later.